Hey guys, I need to be completely honest with you. Not every transaction goes smoothly or closes on time. Sometimes there are hiccups. Sometimes there are unforeseen issues. And sometimes a buyer or seller has a planned trip prior to going into escrow on a property. Well, in this video, we are covering how all three of those things I just mentioned happened, all three during our client's recent home purchase, and why you should never give up on your dreams, because our buyer didn't give up and he overcame more than his fair share of issues with his home purchase. And here is the short version of his incredible story with a huge surprise at the end, which is a first for us in our careers. So a little over a month ago, on March 16th, we received a referral buyer from a lender. They work with our brokerage up in Central California. The buyer found his dream home on a consumer real estate site. It's a 2-acre parcel with a modular home on it. Plus, get this, it sits up against a humongous wildlife sanctuary of over 800 acres in Lakeside's backcountry. And guys, it was listed under $450,000. Now, to put things in perspective, condos go for $500,000 in San Diego County. Here's 2 acres with no HOA or Mello-Roos fees, no neighbors close by, and our buyer gets a fully renovated, move-in ready modular home already in place. Our new client loved the location, about a mile or so from the Barona Indian Casino, with trees and large boulders on the property. He was envisioning his orchard and an off-the-grid lifestyle. One little problem though, by the time we were notified about the property, the home had already got an accepted offer and was in escrow with another buyer. Our client was crushed. So what did we do? We wrote a backup offer at a higher price than where the current buyer was at, and we came in with a quicker escrow time frame. We stayed in communication with the listing agent to see how the current buyer was doing, or in our case, was not performing. All the while, our client was praying that he could have a shot at the property. And lo and behold, that buyer had backed out of their transaction. They couldn't obtain the financing that they set out to get. And to our surprise, our client was now in first position for negotiations due to that backup offer. But now we had a slight hiccup in the time frame and the transaction. Our client was leaving town for 2 weeks abroad, a trip that was in the works long before his dream home fell into his lap. Luckily, with modern technology and using digital signature applications and a few middle-of-the-night WhatsApp texts, we had conversations and we were able to get the initial deposit into escrow. Guys, our client was on the other side of the planet. We arranged for and performed his home inspection, helped him review all of the disclosures, negotiated repairs, and got the appraisal accomplished, all while he was out of the country. Now, remember I had mentioned we were working with a tighter time frame. So the day that we're supposed to remove all contingencies, including the loan contingency, we ran into another issue. You may relate. If you've ever tried to qualify for a home loan, it turns out if you're self-employed, well, sometimes your taxes don't entirely reflect your true income. And we were told by the lender our buyer's debt to income ratio was too high. Now, I have to admit, when I got the call from the lender that the debt to income ratio was 18% too high, I lost it. 2 things came to mind. How could the lender drop the ball on qualifying this buyer? That should have been reviewed prior to us receiving a pre-approval letter from this lender. That should have happened before we even wrote an offer on a property. And it definitely should have never been discovered on the final loan contingency removal date. And the second thing was that our hearts just sank for our client. This was his dream home. Thank goodness, by God's good graces, our client was able to show more income for 2021. Meeting the 50% or less debt to income ratio needed for full loan approval. Okay, so we get the call from the lender. We've got full loan approval. Yahoo! Let's get those loan docs to escrow and close, right? But guys, that isn't exactly how things went. In fact, there were several more issues, lender issues that came up. The underwriter for the loan needed a few more items. Then they could truly issue property approval. Turns out that the manufactured home needed some things. An engineering report, since the structure had a patio cover bolted onto it, and the approval tags were missing. So the lender rushed to take care of both items, and they came through, including them paying for the engineering report, plus the cost for the rush on the workaround that they came up with for the manufactured home tags. Last Sunday afternoon, we did our final walkthrough to confirm the repairs were completed. Typical custom before closing. And we met our client's wife? What? We didn't realize that he was married. It turns out that her birthday was last week. He kept this whole home purchase from her as a birthday surprise. Holy cow, how do you keep a secret like that? Way to go, buddy. First time in our careers, needless to say, they are over the moon happy. As we were walking around the property, the wife told my dad her birds can now talk to the birds outside because the Audubon Society owns the wildlife sanctuary next door. Can you imagine going from a small apartment and now you got a couple of acres with a few hundred acres of open space preserve right next door? Talk about dreams coming true. They certainly did for this family. In fact, as I'm sitting here recording this, we just got confirmation of the title recording into their names, and that means my dad and I are going to be heading out to Lakeside now to hand off the keys to our clients in their new home. So, to all of you who are working really hard, who are saving up for your down payment and closing costs, and who have the dream of home ownership as your goal, do not give up. Miracles happen every day. Hey, when you're ready to have a conversation about your next steps or what you need to do to position yourself for a home and a home loan, please reach out to us. We've been helping families like yours for many years, and we can't wait to share your success story on a video like this someday. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.